going to
Hi
start now.
everyone, welcome to Talk About Life, and we have got a very special guest, Miss Risa from the US, and she's got such a prolific um, a bio that she sent me. You know, she's been a consultant for season 4 of The Biggest Loser, and she's a consultant also. For Maria Shriver in some of her projects. And you know, I would like her to talk about this very important topic for my series of the New Millennium Woman. And but before that, I'd like to welcome her to Singapore, a virtual welcome, and also would like to invite her to come to Singapore post-pandemic, right? Um,
Love you.
and she's such a lovely woman. I've spoken to her for the last 10 minutes. She's such a lovely woman. And I would like her to say hi to everyone in the podcast of Talk About Life, YouTube, Talk About Life, Facebook, and Instagram, wherever we are reaching to the ends of the world, girls. Okay,
much for
Risa,
inviting me. It's an honor to be here and an honor to be in Singapore and around the world. And I'm so glad to talk about women and the new millennial. I'm very, very passionate about nutrition. I have my own private practice, as you mentioned. I see 40 to 50 people a week. And I'm always looking at root causes. I do what's called functional nutrition, which basically looks at root causes. So I'm always looking at foundational issues as those are where things stem, right? I'm always looking at the trunk of the tree rather than the branches. I do work with people of all kinds, lots of professional athletes, collegiate athletes, everybody, kids, adults, with all different kinds of health concerns, from anywhere from a lot of diabetes, sugar dysregulation issues, a lot of thyroid, a lot of autoimmune. I am an autoimmune coach in addition, and I have autoimmune myself, Hashimoto's, and then I work with a lot of people with hormone issues and you name it, anything to cancer. We do a lot of work with that because we all need to eat to feed ourselves for whatever our situation is.
And you know what? Because you're talking about functional, I think this is such a big deal. You know, in this part of the world, people are going for preventive health. Preventive issues are so important. And then after preventive, corrective, right? So, you know, some of these things that you talked about, I think it's new in this part of the world, but I think the demand is there, the need is there, the realization is there, I think, and also to let you and the listeners and the viewers know that, you know, for the new millennium women, you know, we're trying to achieve, we are trying to prove to ourselves like we can do it. And usually we try to achieve and do it on our own, not looking needy, not looking that we want something, a handout. We just want to go, go, go. Right? We take care of our husband, our family, we cook for them, we clean the house, we do everything from A to Z, but we do nothing for ourselves.
Yeah,
but you know, we wear ourselves down. Like, the thing is that we don't have the right food or the right supplement or the right nutrition. It only really surfaces itself just years later.
Yes.
Yeah.
And with the epidemic, with the pandemic, we now know that the root causes, you know, the inflammation is key. We need to have a microbiome in which it will not house a virus. It's too late. If we get the virus and if we're in third stage inflammation, we're going to be very, very sick. If we have nutrient deficiencies like vitamin D, those things are going to really our ability to heal from the virus and to get it in the first place. So what we do in functional nutrition is exactly what you said. We do prevention so that we don't even get to the point where we can house a virus or become very sick.
Okay, wow. But before we get into the topic of today, I would like Lisa, now that we are touched on this topic about preventive health, especially in the onslaught of this pandemic, what are the nutrients, or what are the things that can help us to prevent, make us stronger, or this whatever word you call it, immunology
Build our immune
Yeah,
system.
yeah, and I think the latest finding has found that vitamin D is actually one of the very, very important vitamin to prevent or to boost your immune system. Tell us about some of these findings that.
Sure. So the science that we do know, there's still a lot we don't know about the pandemic, but we do know that vitamin D completely has been shown to either prevent the virus or prevent major illness. So, and I've been talking about vitamin D for as long as I can remember. It's actually not a vitamin, it's a hormone, but it is something that we need. And most people I work with, I mean, I look at blood work with every person I work with, and practically everybody is pretty deficient. Now, functional guidelines are a little bit higher than regular blood test ranges, but we like it in functional medicine between 80 to 100, and I love it there. And so what I do, my levels are there. My the clients that I work with, that's where my goal is to get it there, because it really has. If I had to choose one supplement out of the myriad of supplements I take or I recommend, it would absolutely be vitamin D, because it is completely important for immunity, like really important. We have a D receptor site in every cell in the body. It is critical for thyroid, really important for thyroid, which just regulates everything. Really, really important for gut, super important for gut, brain, heart. There really isn't much that it isn't good for. We cannot make bone. I do not care how much vitamin or how much calcium you eat or you take. You will not make bone without vitamin D. It's also been proven to be anti-cancer, anti-aging. But vitamin D levels, when you're deficient in vitamin D, a lot of things trickle down from there. So that is a really major thing that I recommend for everybody. I take vitamin D, my kids take it, my whole family, and everybody I work with.
I never knew that.
Yeah, it's
Thank
really
you.
important.
Thank you. Yeah.
And you want a vitamin D with vitamin K for optimal absorption, which is what my vitamin D has. Yeah.
How do we get these things from everyday diet? I mean, vitamin D, vitamin K. Yeah.
So vitamin D is in some foods. It's in eggs. It's in mushrooms. It's small amounts in some foods. So you can get it through food, but there really isn't anybody that I know that can get it solely through food. We also get vitamin D primarily from the sun. So and we need cholesterol to conjugate that vitamin D. So, but I work with professional athletes who are out in the sun all day, every day, and they still have slightly low levels as well. So you always want to check your vitamin D levels, but sun is really the primary source of where we can make vitamin D. What was this? You had asked me the foods, and I'm sorry, I can't remember. You just asked.
Vitamin K.
Vitamin K, perfect, exactly. Vitamin K comes from lots of vegetables, so you can get it it's in avocados, it's in leafy greens, very high in kale. So vitamin K is pretty readily available. But vitamin D is great. It's a fat soluble vitamin, so you want to have it with some fat if you can. But the vitamin K will just help with that absorption. Yeah.
I'm kind of intrigued about what is this functional therapy that you're talking. It's so new. I've never heard about this.
So functional medicine is fairly new. It's been around for maybe a decade or two, possibly. And it was really founded by MDs, medical doctors, who were frustrated with the system of there's a pill for an ill. And a lot of times you go into the doctor with a complaint, and then there's usually a prescription that follows. They don't really look, because they haven't been trained in medical school to really look at what food you're having, what nutrients can help and heal. I know in your part of the world, you probably look at that a lot more with herbs and foods, and that is our medicine for sure. So functional medicine really looks at the root causes and looks at the nutrient deficiencies and says, can we fix this through food and maybe some nutritional supplementation, or do we need to go to medication? It's not that they rule out medication, it's just not the very first thing that they go to. And so it's been amazing. I work with a lot of people with blood sugar dysregulation, diabetes, insulin resistance, pre-diabetic, and instead of medication, we just do it through food and some
Yes,
supplementation.
and that is something that I myself subscribe to. You know, using food, the most natural source before we go to
Yeah.
the doctor to get medication. I just want to ask, how do you find out I I am deficient in anything? How do I find out that I've got this range of the rainbow color of vitamins in my
So I
body?
do pretty elaborate blood tests.
Yeah.
And on the blood test, you'll find a lot of that information there. You can see inflammation markers, vitamin D,
Oh, I
calcium, magnesium, things like that.
Yeah.
When I get a comprehensive panel, that's what I look at.
I
Um,
see.
If I feel that I also do stool testing. Those are the two
Yeah.
tests I do with every single client that comes in, because
Yeah.
the stool test that I work with tells
Stool
us about
test.
80 stool tests. Yeah. I'm looking in the intestines. I'm looking to see if there's
Yes, gut
Yes.
health.
Exactly, gut health. So I look at 82 pathogens. I'm looking at fungus, candida, worms, parasites. I can tell from that test how much digestive enzymes you're producing. If you're having a hard time absorbing fats, where's your immunity? Immunity is 75 to 85% is produced in our gut. So I'm looking at your secretory IgA, which tells us where your immunity is in your gut. I'm looking at leaky gut. I'm looking at everything. So I have a full
Yes.
picture. Yeah,
Yes.
I always say
You're the queen. Oh my God, I'm talking to the right person, because you're right about the gut health, about stools. You know, this has been something so missed out in the medical science. You need the nutritional person like you to say that, hey, let's look at the stools, let's look at the saliva, let's look at what is in your intestine, what goes on in there. Because it has been such I should say that for the Oriental holistic health that has been in the ancient health in the Oriental world, the number one health is really from your gut.
Absolutely.
What
It all
goes
stems
on
from
into your waist? Do you have that waist, or do you have a waist of this size?
exactly. That's
It makes
exactly.
difference. So
Yes.
you're the queen. No, I know I'm speaking to the queen.
You're so sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
tell us about this this kind of like scanning of the gut. I mean, you get me intrigued. Scanning of the gut about the bio, the flora that determines your health, your age, your bio age, and everything. And tell us a little bit about this. I know it's a lot of science, but just give us the summary and make us feel intrigued. And I'm so intrigued.
So the gut, as you said, is everything. It really is. Everything really stems from there. So if you think
It starts from the gut. Everything starts from your gut, your intestines, your colon.
Right. If you think about it as your soil, right? If you're planting a tree that's going to bloom and thrive, you want your soil to be rich, right? So when there's so many issues that, they're pretty much all gut related. So that's why I'm always looking at gut health and systemic inflammation. Those are the two foundational issues that I focus on. And as we know from coronavirus, the systemic inflammation, those are the third phase inflammation stages where we're getting really, really sick. So, but I focus on gut health. I talk about it every single day because it is critical. So what I look at, we want our gut to be acidic, our blood to be alkalized, right?
Yes.
So we want to be able to break that down. If we have an acidic stomach, then we cannot house a virus, right? We can't host it. We can break down our food so we don't have bloating, gas, and constipation, right? We want to be able to break it down, and as we age, we all produce and excrete digestive enzymes. But as we age and we produce and excrete less and less. And to your point, Vicki, well, when we have stress, that production of our hydrochloric acid and our pancreatic enzymes start to diminish. That's when the gas, the bloating, the indigestion, the constipation. And when we house our toxins in our system that don't leave the building, what happens if you don't take your trash out, right? You're just going to reabsorb those toxins, those heavy metals, those
heavy metals,
that waste.
Cancer-causing metals. Tell my husband, and this is what? That's the sewage system. You gotta get rid of that sewage.
Right? Daily.
The thing is that a lot of people don't recognize that's the seed of health. So sister, preach it.
Yes, I'm trying. Yeah. And that's what we do. That's what I do in my office every
the seed
day.
Of health. You know, it's like,
yeah.
when I you know, I've been in this, just to share with you, and we're having this wonderful bi-directional dialogue. Okay. I take my apple cider vinegar with water, and I take my mineral water and distilled water if I could. And but I'm really big on water. I need to know where it comes from, which mountain there is, and then where is the source. That's why, you know, I've lived in France for the last 7-8 years. It's like, it's such a pristine place, and people just talk about food. Where is the source? You know, where is the source of sauce? How do you kill that animal? What kind of feed are you giving the animal? You know, it's the whole chain that goes into our body, that goes into our gut, that processes whatever thing that's at the very origin. People often forget the origin, and then it goes into our gut, and then it goes to this sewage system that kind of processes whatever it wants and whatever it wants to get rid of. And you know what, Risa? A lot of people forget that sewage system is there, and they don't get rid of the sewage by going to the toilet. Can you imagine it kind of ferment all this kind of bad bacteria?
Oh, it's horrible.
There's so little of that consciousness of people in the street.
Oh, yes, completely.
And
so we don't,
that's the basis of health.
Yes.
And that's the basis of cancer prevention.
Absolutely. Without question. Without question. We have to have clean soil, right? We absolutely have to have clean soil. And we are what we eat, right? What they eat, you know, how those vegetables were fed. Were they fed, you know, GMO, or do we have, right? I mean, we could go on and on with all the chemicals that we've got going. So we have to be diligent about feeding our soil and cleaning the roots, right?
Okay. And you're getting me so piqued and so, like, you just can't imagine my fire. That's like, okay, I got you. You're not gonna run away. You're gonna come back to the show. You're gonna come back to the show, okay? Because we're on the same frequency, we've got the same language. We got to, like, tell this to the world that, you know, a lot of people, they kind of neglect that intestinal health. And you know, intestine stretch how many meters? 8 meters?
I don't know by
12 meters. 12 meters or 8 meters. And then, you know, every part of it, you got to clean it up.
Absolutely.
So in the morning, I take my apple cider vinegar or my some of this Indian Ayurvedic, because I'm so huge on, I told you I'm a food extremist. I take the Ayurvedic kind of supplement, a little bit of the Oriental, ancient Chinese herbal stuff, and a little bit from the American school of thought about nutrition and health prevention. I want to know, like, for a modern woman, when she gets up in the morning and then she goes to work, because she's so busy, she grab whatever there is. Sometimes she just go hungry. Sometimes when you go hungry, your mind is just, you know, full of flustered with all these things that is tearing you apart. The forces of work, responsibility, roles, things that are just taunting you. You know, you just grab whatever and you just bite, and it just goes in. Like, tell us, for a modern woman that gets up in the morning, what must she do? And that as she progresses throughout the day, what should she ideally do?
So, you know, a preparation is key. It really is, because as you said, we're super busy, and if we don't prepare, then we're going to grab. And usually when we grab, it's not the right choice. So I start my day personally every single day with a collagen shake, because I can't really find any breakfast that is more nutritious than that. You're getting your protein, your good fats, vitamins, minerals, I have collagen that I make in chocolate or vanilla, and then I always add a fat to it. So I usually do coconut cream personally because there's very carbohydrates, really, really good fats, lauric acid, caprylic acid, good for skin, good for gut. Or I use an avocado or sometimes almond butter, and I usually get some greens in. Lately, I've been putting, for a while now, about a teaspoon to a tablespoon of pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds are super high in zinc. So again, I'm always looking for immunity. That helps build immunity.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll put some chia seeds for omegas, and sometimes not. And not really very much fruit at all because fruit is sugar, but I usually save that for dessert if I do ever have dessert. So that's usually how I start my day personally. I think that it is, again, the best way to do it. It's low carbohydrates and it's good fats for my brain, and it gives me amazing energy and it keeps me till lunch. Now, what I tell people the rest of the day, and I mean pretty much all day, you focus on protein, fat, and fiber, protein, fat, and fiber.
Protein, fat, fiber. Okay, tell us.
So fat is really good. You want the good kind of fat. So as I mentioned, avocado, olives, olive oil, nuts, seeds, coconut oil, sesame, tahini, those kinds of things. Those kinds of oils are really, really good for our brain. They're good for our bodies. They've got some good omegas, omega-3s. And so we need that for brain function. We need that for vitality. We need that for gut, everything. And so I'm always making sure I get some kind of fat. So hard-boiled egg or olives or some kind of good fats. Good fats are good, right? Fat does not make us fat. We now know that.
I don't know that.
Yes, fat does
So
not
we
make
need you
us
to
fat.
teach.
Sugar makes us fat. Sugar makes us fat.
Okay.
Carbohydrates make us fat.
Okay. Okay.
And I can go into that if you want to.
Okay.
But
Yes. I
okay.
would love you to come back again. Tell us again. So in the morning, you have that kind of very wholesome, clean, homemade food, and not something you grab from McDonald's, a big breakfast, and not something you would get the Coke and then you kind of like wash it down. You know, people just drive, and they just like kind of grab it. But does it take time? Does it take time? Does it take time to do all this?
Sure, absolutely. It does take time. I'm not going to lie. You can make it easy. I mean, I don't make my shake the night before, but it is a priority for me. I make that shake because if I walk out the door without that shake, I'm going to tend to grab something. Now, I don't typically grab something unhealthy. I'll have some nuts, or I have collagen bars, which I will have. Collagen bars, because collagen is really, really good protein for us. Helps with hair, skin, and nails, but really good for gut. I call it grout for leaky gut. So helps the amino acids help heal.
Wow, there's a lot of science because I think that we forget about fats. And for me, I'm trying to get rid of all kinds of fats. But you're right, we need fats in our brain, and our brain is made of fats. Collagen is such a big deal. We're talking about anti-aging for women, right? Our skin. Right. Tell us about collagen. Why is it good for a good kind of fat?
So collagen is amazing. It's a protein. It's one of our most abundant proteins that we produce in our bodies. But as we age, we decrease our supply, our production of it. And that's how wrinkles come, right? We lose elasticity in our skin. A lot of times people with a lot of joint pain, everyone I work with arthritis, I always give them collagen. And sometimes, many times, we can just reverse that joint pain. I mean, it's very, very common that is reversed with collagen. So collagen basically it's extracted, they're amino acids, and they need to be cooked from animal bones. So whether it's a beef, chicken, bison, whatever it is, they're cooked for long periods of time. So poultry is usually 24 hours and beef are usually 48 hours. And then we can extract, I mean, we talk about chicken feet, neck, like that. Those are high in collagen. So you cook those. You can make this at home if you wanted to make bone broth. And it comes from the amino acids in those bones. And basically, the benefits are amazing. I mean, I have collagen at least once a day. I was at the hairdresser the other day and she said, "What are you doing?" I have this whole new thick, new hair growth all the time because I do so much collagen. But it's great for hair, skin, and nails. Really great for that. And really
you've got good hair, by the way.
Hair, thank you, and good for joint pain. As I mentioned, really good cellulite. It helps with cellulite. And it also will help immunity, and it can help us lose weight a bit too. It supports the gut and it enhances that. But it's what I call grout for leaky gut. So it kind of fills in the holes in the leaky gut. When we have holes, when we start filling holes in our intestinal lining, that's when undigested proteins come in, those toxins, food particles, pathogens, all go through the intestinal lining, and it'll go through the bloodstream. And the body says, who is this? It's coming through the back door, and it creates antibodies. And then it starts to attack. Then we're in a state of inflammation. That's how we get food allergies, food sensitivity. So what I'm always trying to do is heal that gut, because we only have one layer of skin in the intestinal lining, where on the outside we have 7 layers.
It sounds like you are identifying my problem right now. So I've got a free consultation from you. This is exactly what I'm experiencing. Yeah, I'm experiencing leaky gut, and also a lot of bloatedness, even though no matter how clean I'm trying to be with my food, with my diet, I think there's something that is really missing out. It's something that I'm trying, because I'm trying to avoid a lot of food. I don't think I got enough of the whole holistic, comprehensive, nutrients or mineral that I need, and of course the amino acids, because I'm literally like a vegan, and I don't eat enough of the eggs. I try not to, because I've been on this macrobiotic vegan diet for as long as I can. I know of about more than 10 years. Wow. So I know my diet is really skewed, and I'm so selective in my food. And I think that's the problem. When someone is too selective, they don't get other kinds of food. So I don't eat meat. I don't take beef. Even if I take chicken, I take it once in a few months, and I make sure it's free range or wild. I try to get the smallest chicken, like a spring chicken. And you try to work so hard, and that's why, Risa, I'm telling you, you've got a food extremist here. Not only I'm so choosy with my food, I'm choosy with the water, the liquid that goes into my body, the air that I breathe.
Right.
The water that I take in, I don't take processed drinks. I take my tea, my green tea, my Japanese green tea, my Oriental tea, my Ayurvedic tea, my English tea, or my French, Swedish tea, whatever. I've avoided dairy. Sometimes I need calcium. I feel that I'm losing my bones already. So I know that I'm really skewed in a certain way. So you're talking about a food extremist that is not a perfect one.
We're all a work in progress, aren't we? Because we're always learning, and we don't know. And that's why I do the blood test and the stool test so frequently, is because it gives us a roadmap. Otherwise, we're playing darts in the dark. I'm really not that good with darts in the dark, because I can't see the target.
What I'm deficient in. Yeah.
Right. So you need to check and see, if you feel like you're having bone loss, I would look at your vitamin D levels. Calcium, the best source of calcium is through leafy greens, for sure. So lots of leafy greens. And again, if you have that vitamin D level, that's good. You're going to make your bone, for sure.
Yeah. So tell us also, like, for example, for stress, for the modern millennium woman, and yourself, you're holding a big business, right? And you're meeting clients, you're dealing with people, you're doing a lot of talking, and that stresses your body because you are just giving and giving. So someone like you, or someone like a career woman, a woman with a lot of businesses to juggle with, that stress level that is unseen, even as we're talking, we're stressing ourselves. Tell us, how do we manage that and buffer that?
So stress is inevitable, right? We're living in this life where we have phones and computers, and we're on all the time, as you mentioned, the kids, everything. We are completely at full capacity on stress. And then, so I deal with this a lot. So let me give you the mechanics behind it and then how to what I recommend. So our adrenal glands sit right on top of our kidneys, and they produce, there are stress modulators. So they produce adrenaline and cortisol, other hormones as well. But cortisol is basically our stress hormone, right? And it's supposed to start high in the morning. That's how we pop out of bed. And throughout the day, it starts to dip down. The sun goes down, melatonin production goes up, and the cortisol goes down. That's how it's supposed to be. But because we're at high rates like this, I mean, I see it all the time. I do cortisol testing. You know, I just got results back a few months ago from a CEO of a Fortune 500 company that I work with, who's a woman, and she never even made the line. She was just above the line the whole time because she's always so stressed. So that's not good. And then, of course, what are we going to see when we see high levels of cortisol? You're absolutely not going to see any weight loss. It's going to be very, very difficult to lose weight when it's so high. You're going to have trouble sleeping, probably either falling asleep or staying asleep, but usually falling asleep. And there's and then it's going to affect your blood sugar levels, and it's going to affect your thyroid. So stress is a big factor. Now, when we are stressed, what happens is it starts to eat all the B vitamins that live in the intestinal lining. So if you're taking any kind of antacids that block B vitamin absorption, then you're really starting behind the 8 ball. If you are taking other medications, that a lot of medications block B vitamins, B12, and all different types of B vitamins, then you're going to have a depletion of them. There's also a gene mutation that is extremely common. I have it, my kids have it, 90% of the population has it, called MTHFR. And MTHFR basically means that you are not methylating your B vitamins, either your B12 and or your folate. So if you do have MTHFR, and then you're not absorbing your B vitamins to begin with, and then you're stressed, you're really going to start seeing the impact of that deficiency. So it's really important to take care of that stress. And B vitamins primarily come from animal protein. So this is where a lot of vegans who are sick. So we need to have some B vitamins. So if you're vegan, hands down, there's no way you're walking out of my office with some B Ultra. I take B Ultra every day because it is a complex, and I take a methylated form. All my B vitamins are methylated forms in the event that you do have MTHFR. It just means you're able to absorb it. So B vitamins are critical for somebody stressed. And then the other thing is, so those are the foods you want to eat. Now, if we're eating highly processed foods laden with sugar and carbohydrates, that is not going to help the situation. It's going to put further stress on that because, you know, any kind of environmental stress, food stress, work, family relationships, all of that is not going to help the situation. In addition, B vitamins are precursors for so many things. Digestive enzyme production. We need B6 and zinc to make our own hydrochloric acid. So we start to break down our digestion. That's where we see when I'm stressed, I get stomach aches or I get diarrhea. I have stomach issues. I hear that a lot.
And you can't even sleep at night.
Exactly. Sleeping is a big deal. So we need to take down the cortisol. And so what we can do with the foods that I mentioned, in addition to that, is exercise. Exercise is a natural way to bring down cortisol. We don't want major high impact exercise. You know, we don't need to be running a marathon every week, but some form of walking or Pilates or yoga is a great exercise for bringing down cortisol. But anything, you want to hop on a bike or go for a jog, that's great. Exercise is a great way to naturally decrease our cortisol. The other is Epsom salt baths. Magnesium is Epsom salt is very big magnesium, and magnesium can get depleted if we are stressed as well. 80% of the population is technically magnesium deficient. Again, magnesium is one of those nutrients super important for the body and very commonly blocked by medication. Epsom salt baths are really high in magnesium. So I always recommend my high cortisol clients to sit in a Epsom salt bath, 2 cups for 20 minutes or more, as many times as you want.
You mean sit in?
sit in the bathtub and take a bath with at least 2 cups of Epsom salt for at least 20 minutes.
You mean the body will absorb?
Exactly.
I see.
And that will help somebody fall asleep and bring down cortisol regularly.
Yeah, because the skin is the largest organ. Yeah, you know, I know now I'm talking to the queen. I mean, you've got this wealth. I can't believe it. Because while you're talking about it, in my mind, I'm thinking about boom, boom, boom. There's this question I want to ask you. There's this question I want to ask you. There's this question. Because you're highlighting so many things that is so deep. You know, you've got this ocean of wealth of information that I'm just like looking in right now. Like you're just like a walking encyclopedia. I just gotta grab you, girl. It's like, don't run away.
Yeah.
You know,
well, everything's connected, right?
Yeah, you know, and you know, me being such a freak about food and now going into, you know, women about health and you talked about menopause and everything, you know. And not only that, you talked about so many things. Because stress is something, it's a characteristic of modern lifestyle in the city. No one can run away from. I mean, how many of us are living in the city now? People are just leaving the rurals or leaving the countryside to go to the city. And people are just jam-packed in the city. And just to let Risa know, you know, Singapore is just a little island in a tropical island. And just to let you know, we are actually about 32 degrees Celsius here. Okay. I know you're using Fahrenheit, but 32 degrees Celsius is like, you can wear your bikinis, you can wear your shorts to go to the beach. It's a wonderful weather. And you know, it's jam-packed with people. And people are living in a pace whereby we just go, go, go. We just need to build the economy. We need to get a career done. We need to go to the client. We need to get the dollar. We need to get the banker. We need to have that meeting. And we're going to have like lined up with like 3-4 meetings and all this, like back to back, zoom, zoom, zoom. You know, this is the kind of life in a city.
Right. And we weren't designed to be on the go pedal. We were designed to be more on the brake pedal. Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone is just like, you know, accelerating. You know, it's only in the pandemic situation we kind of like slow down a bit. But you know, with the post-pandemic, hopefully it's coming. Everybody's just going to go back to boom, 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 because they're going to make up for the lost time.
Yes.
You know, the lost time, the lost opportunities, to make up for whatever that has been kind of missed out. You know, so I think that there are two things to it. You can look at it good, okay, it's going to go back to normal, or people are just going to go back to like boom, 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 the bullet points, like 20 bullet points are going to catch up with all this work. You know, there's a list down the line. So, you know, Risa, you need to preach it. You know, the thing is that this knowledge that you have, and this is like, I'm trying so hard to live for the last 10-15 years. You know, people need to know that, you know, health is something that you build up throughout the years.
You earn it.
It's not something that you say, okay, today I've got like, okay, I feel good today and tomorrow's like, I'm going to be good. It doesn't happen that way. And people talking about like anti-aging, and I'm just saying that anti-aging doesn't happen like tomorrow you put on cream on your face.
Right, exactly.
You got to start like 10 years ago.
Yeah. It's an everyday deal.
Yeah,
right?
You're wearing your body down, you're wearing your organic system down, and people are not realizing it. The boom, boom, boom. And now the zoom, zoom, zoom.
Exactly. Well said. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
We gotta start, no, you gotta start young, which is the truth. You gotta start when you're like your 20s. Yeah.
We have to feed our body what it requires, not what we feel like, right? Yeah. I always say eat more for survival and less for sport. So, you know, we don't think about, oh, I had some protein, good fats, and some omegas for breakfast. I'm going to have some magnesium and some calcium for lunch, right? We don't think that way. Most people don't. Yeah. But we think
it's
about
a lifestyle. It's a philosophy. Yeah, because I always say that, you know, changing your mind change your life. It changes your choices. It changes your decision. It changes what you do throughout the day. That's why I wanted to ask you, like, what does a new millennium woman do in the beginning and then the end of the day? What she should do and how does she de-stress herself? We've got a lot of things to talk about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my
You've got
recommendation.
a follower. You've got a follower here.
Oh, well, that's great. And I think you're terrific too. But I think that the most important thing we can do as women is learn the word no, because I think we just sort of say, oh, okay, I'll pile that on top of this and I'll do that and I'll take care of this. And if we just say, what is really most important? What do I really need to get done today? And we absolutely have to say, I am not going to sacrifice my exercise time, my sleep time, or my food prep time. Those
Yes.
are three non-negotiables for me.
Yeah.
I absolutely have to be prepared for
Yeah.
food.
Yeah.
I have easy things like cauliflower rice. It's in my freezer. So if I get in a pinch, I usually have some chicken or some fish in my freezer and cauliflower rice. I can just make a dinner in 10 minutes. And trust me, it happens a lot.
Okay.
So I
Tell,
will.
tell, tell us, tell us now that I've taken up like almost 50 minutes of your time. Now for the next like 2 minutes, tell us, I see there's a lot of supplements you've got in the bag, in the background that you've got. Tell us about these food supplements and also tell us about what are the everyday thing you do for your functional medical therapy that you do for the new millennium woman. And does it also include like whole foods, food, plus the supplements? What does it all entail?
So, yes. So I have a line of supplements because I'm super picky and I don't really want to take stuff that is poorly
Just out there, yes. You want
Rancid.
quality control yourself.
Exactly, good quality for myself, for my clients, and for my family.
Yeah.
And so I have a line of products. Everything is gluten, dairy, soy free, and non-GMO.
Gluten, dairy, soya free. Okay.
Yes, and I have an RGN Risa Groux Nutrition Detox. It's a 14-day detox, collagen protein, 2 shakes a day, and then you get to eat food. So animal protein, unlimited vegetables, sweet potato yams, and good fats. People mostly do it for weight loss, but it is not a weight loss program. I believe that weight loss is a side effect of wellness, so it's always a program. And imagine how that happens, but it does. Every day I see it. And so I have my detox, which is usually where I start people when they come to see me. We start with that. They're happy because they feel better. The joint pain's gone, the headaches are gone, the weight loss, whatever it is, usually that takes place. And then we go from there. But I always recommend vitamin D for every person. Even if their levels are good, I'm going to give them one every other day or something because we want to maintain that. Vitamin B is a pretty good standard for me because I have MTHFR, and for most people, if you're stressed, you're going to have some vitamin B. And then I do a fish oil. So I have my Omega Max, which is a cod liver oil. And then fairly new conversation is short chain fatty acids. Short chain fatty acids, butyric acid, these are amazing for the diversity of the microbiome. They're basically what I call a postbiotic. So they're food for the
postbiotic. I see. It's new. Yeah, it's new.
That's my postbiomax. So I take one postbiomax every single day. That's the short chain fatty acids. I have enzyme max, which is digestive enzymes. So
I need that.
Everybody needs that. As we age, we
need the enzymes.
And if we're stressed, we absolutely
need yes, digestion, number one.
It has ox bile in it to help digest fats. It has hydrochloric acid, which many of them don't have. Some do, but it's always important to have hydrochloric acid. Helps you digest your proteins mostly. And then I have magnesium, and I have some gut reboot, which is L-glutamine, which is one of the most reboot. It's a powder. I put it. I take it in the morning, and helps. It has L-glutamine, slippery elm, marshmallow root, all these things.
Wow.
So
I think you can really go on for like a module in a school.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
class.
I'm looking to heal, looking to help
people heal. Supplements are supplement. You supplement your diet. You supplement it into your life and your lifestyle.
Mhm.
Do you also like focus on like food preparation,
Absolutely.
changing that kind of?
Absolutely. So I eat whole foods. I don't really typically eat anything
That's
processed.
processed. Yes.
I
No
you know, I
canned
stick.
food. No food in a package.
I will have some canned food on occasion, but usually I
Yeah.
like it in glass jars.
Yeah.
Um, and if they're
Glass.
BPA free, but
Yeah.
I so I eat whole foods. I don't really eat anything processed. I don't go to fast foods or
Yeah.
anything like that. I cook pretty
Exactly.
much every day. I do.
Exactly.
There are a couple of restaurants in town that I will go to, and of
Yeah.
course, when I travel, I
Yeah.
eat at the restaurants. And you know, I always say to the people I work with, we're gonna die of
Yeah.
something, and
Yeah.
we do collect toxins. It's
Okay.
just it's the way it is, and
Yeah.
that's why I detox several times a year.
Yeah.
Starting on January 4th, if you want to join me. But
Wow.
yeah, but it's really important to eat whole foods. Think about it this way, Vicky. Think about,
Wow.
you know, we were built, we have this is a machine, right? This is a factory, and we have the equipment to actually, we were designed to eat food, right? So if
Yeah.
we put in toxins and chemicals, what's going to happen? The liver, it's going to come in, the liver says, who are you? Are you real or are you fake? And if you're fake, turn it into an enzyme so they can get it through the system, right? And we keep doing this to the liver.
Yes.
We're gonna have a tough time. That liver's gonna stop
Yes.
optimally, right?
We are just like bombarding ourselves. I mean, people don't understand. A lot of people don't understand. We are killing ourselves.
Well, what we're doing is, I use this example all the time with people. We're putting cell phone parts into a sneaker factory, right? We have a sneaker factory that takes leather, rubber, and canvas, but we say, oh, let's put some cell phone parts in there. It's going to
It
break
doesn't
down,
work. Yeah,
right? It doesn't
yeah,
work.
yeah,
It's going to break
yeah,
down the
yeah.
equipment. So I'm always trying to get us to, we have so many choices in this modern world, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there's plenty of things that look like food, that taste like food, they're sold as food, but
Yes,
they're not feeding us.
these are fake foods. These
Fake food.
are fake foods. Okay, one final thing. I've taken up 1 hour now. What about cleansing the body?
So
Getting rid.
I'm a
I
huge
love that.
fan
I love
of,
that.
of
People
cleansing the
must
body.
do that. Yeah.
It is critically important.
Yeah.
Even if you eat super clean, I do it all the time
Yeah.
because the liver accumulates those toxins.
Yes,
It's
it
estimated
manufactures toxins, even
the
as you detox that.
The average
Wow.
American female comes in contact with over 200 toxins just before she's left the bathroom each morning. And if you look at the ingredients in your shampoo, the nail polish, the makeup,
Yes.
the deodorant,
Oh
all
my
of that
God,
stuff
preach
is
it.
absorbed, let alone what
Fantastic.
we're breathing, let
Yes.
alone what we're putting on our skin. So all of that is being absorbed through the liver, and it's stored
Wow.
in fat cells and fat tissue. So detoxifying is really critical. I've tried
Yes.
every detox on the market, every cleanse. The juice cleanses, I don't know if those are popular in Shanghai, but it extracts all the fiber out. So what are you actually, you can't glob onto any toxins, right? Gives your digestive tract a break, but you're not really escorting any toxins out. So
Do you
fiber.
do cologne cleanse at your
You know what
clinic?
I do them probably once every other year. I recently did it about 2 months ago, where I don't eat any real food for 7 days. I drink a lot. I
Yeah.
take supplements for nutrients, and I go in for a colonic once a day.
Wow.
And it's amazing what is pulled out, this black tarry stuff that lives in the folds of your intestines. And after that, after I'm cleaned out, my absorbability is just so heightened.
Yeah.
But I detox with my detox, which is equally as effective, because you're really getting rid of toxins that we just accumulate, and they live in the tissue.
Yes, environmental unseen toxin that we're bombarded, even in a house, the paint, the wood, right? All this chemical from the wood. And then you're talking about shampoo. And you know what? I'm such a big follower of you. You know, we should really like get this message out. I'm trying so hard to get like natural shampoo, which I can't. Natural, and even like makeup, it's really hard to get clean stuff. I think it's a new thing now in America. People are talking about clean concept, but it's still not out in the mainstream. It's still hard to get it, and people, and I think the consumers aren't educated or aware enough of these kind of, I should say, damage that they are doing to themselves.
Well, parabens are very common in shampoos, conditioners,
Yes.
sunscreens. And parabens basically have isoflavones that mimic estrogen. So we see a ton of women with estrogen.
It affects women's health. Yes. It affects our women's health, our hormones. You know, I hope to invite you again, Risa. I've taken up 1 hour of your time. If we could make this into a structured approach, that we could talk about some things that, I mean, everything sounds important. But I would think like what you say, if we were to pinpoint anything that's topmost, colon health, intestinal health, gut health, that's number one. And then hormones. I mean, it regulates everything.
Yep. And change for women, right?
Yeah.
Constantly.
What's the name of the product that you have out there?
For my detox?
Yeah, the name of your brand.
Oh, it's Risa Groux Nutrition.
I see. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna give that link there. And then I would like to invite you again to give us another master class.
I'd be happy to. Thank you. And I have a lot of recipes, a lot of recipes on my website, and they're all broken down by diet type, because I have developed what's called Food Frame, and you take the Food Frame quiz to determine what diet type is best for you. The book Food Frame will be coming out early in 2021. And so it helps people with all this information, but it helps them choose the right way of eating for them. Not
something that's achievable. Something that is achievable for the ordinary busy woman. Thank you so much, Risa. I would like to invite you again for a master class with yourself, and then to educate the modern woman. You know, the woman on the go, which is like boom, 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 and now the zoom, zoom, zoom.
It's crazy, right?
It's crazy, yeah. I mean, just to prepare us for the post-pandemic life. It's going to go back to those crazy days again.
Well, I hope we continue to eat at home. I hope we continue to sleep and exercise and not do the go, 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 because it isn't good for us.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Risa. I'll write to you and we'll contact each other. And I want to tell you how grateful I am to have found you, to invite you. And I think it's such a blessing. We have got you in this part of the world. And also 60% of my listeners from the podcast and Americans. I mean, everyone needs what you just talked about. It's not just women. It's not just the women who's on go, go, go. But, you know, it's just every day. Can you imagine like the stress that goes on you in the corporate life? The kind of thing that people need to like go to that meeting, to the negotiation, that email that comes to you. Hey, oh my God, it's like the hell just came to you, just fell down, you know, like that kind of stress that you're facing every day. I can't imagine going back to that life.
It's hard. It's very hard. So got to take care of yourself.
Thank you so much, Risa.
Thank you so much.
All the best to you and your business.
Thank you.
I would write to you again, to yourself and Sarah and to Kosi. You know, invite you for a master class with Risa.
I would love it, and perhaps one day Singapore.
Yeah, thank you so much, Risa. We will welcome you again.
Thank you so much.
2021.
Okay, yes, a happy and healthy new year to you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.